Hi, Amanda here with another expression straight from the heart. Feeling really called to hop on and just get back into this process these days. Feeling called to share. And what's been coming through has been around sharing a lot of like the reclaiming that is happening through my sphere anyway. And the biggest thing with that is reclaiming bodily autonomy. Bodily sovereignty, self-sovereignty, saying no, having boundaries being respected. And a big part of that for me is around reclaiming motherhood. So I'm not sure if I'm going to share a little bit more about that, but I feel called to try to just really come on here and express from the heart when it comes to all of the work that has been done around that up until now. And I'm not exactly sure what needs to be said, but as always, just coming on here and trusting in the moment that the story that comes through is what needs to be shared, what needs to be said, what needs to be heard by whoever happens to tune into this message. And so I would say that the greatest call around this is around like releasing any judgments or expectations around what that's supposed to look like, what parenthood is supposed to look like, while also accepting and knowing that it can look like some of the older ways, because that was what, like, that's been like the biggest struggle for me, is like all of the feminist messaging around like, like women worked so hard to be able to leave the home and not be stay-at-home moms, or to not be mothers, and to be able to get out and work and like have a real life and all of these kinds of things. And my call has been to see that motherhood is actually enough. But that's the word that I was using, but I've been feeling called to stop using that word actually, and see that it's like, because it's way more than enough. I mean, like, raising future generations for this planet is huge, incredible work. And from my perspective, it's actually a shame the way that we're often kind of just forgetting about that, or like leaving the care of our children or the raising of our children up to people who are disconnected from their true well-being. I mean, caretakers, teachers, whatever, like they do their best. I'm not saying that they don't care at all, but at the end of the day, like, it's their job. They've got like a lot of kids that they're taking care of often, and oftentimes they don't have like all of the like information or resources, or simply like time or energy to really be able to care for our kids the way that I personally want my kids to be cared for. So anyway, in this reclaiming, it's just like a reclaiming of everything, of the way that we birth our children into this world. I don't want it to be like hyper medicalized. I want it to be like so sacred and loving and connected, which a lot of what I'm seeing around me, to be honest, is it's not really the case. So I want something different, and that's for me like the first step in this reclaiming is just claiming that desire. The story that circulates the most around me is like, oh, well, somebody wanted a natural birth, and in the end they weren't able to do it. So like, don't get your hopes up, basically. Like, and I feel like we set ourselves up for failure by repeating this story over and over and over again. And the amount of people who tell me to just not have a desire, like to not care, to be in a state of like letting go and allowing, I understand that like birth itself happens in that way. Like, when, you know, you can't control everything. Of course not, that's life. However, that being said, it doesn't mean that you have to hand your power over or hand your desires over, or just be completely submissive and let whatever happened to you happen. You can't, there's a certain amount of preparation and information that you can take in. You can empower yourself. It's a lot of like inner work to get what you want. I mean, it's like manifesting anything. If you just say like, oh well, there's a chance that it's not going to go the way I want it to go down, so I'm not even going to try. Basically, you're giving your power away right away. You know, so I've had a problem with that for a while, because in this journey for me in reclaiming motherhood, like that's been one of the biggest hurdles, has been just like seeing the way we give birth in hospitals, starting to uncover like home births and, you know, doulas and midwives and all of the beautiful things, but seeing that even there, the medical system has even like, you know, infiltrated these once sacred spaces. And so just like, yeah, being as aware as possible, but also like feeling like, can I really get what I want out of this? Can I give my baby, who is kicking right now, like what I really want to give my baby? And this like deep part within me says like, yes, I can, and that it's about reclaiming my power around that and like demanding what I want, and not just rolling over and like, see what happens. You know, like I can have a very powerful role in the way that things go down, while knowing that, you know, when the day of the birth arrives, and then when the baby is here, like of course there are some things that are out of your control. And I feel like it's the whole dance that we have with life, and the dance between like yin and yang energies, and like, you know, knowing when you can surrender and accept the flow of like where the universe and life is taking you, because it's meant to happen a certain way and things are unfolding in a certain way, but also being able to like direct and navigate some of the energy towards what you actually truly desire, and creating like situations and a life that you really want. You know, like that is the mastery that we are here to reconnect with as powerful creators on this planet, here to have this physical experience. And many of us mothers can have a huge impact on where things are going if we focus on the birthing process, and how we're bringing new humans into this world with like the least amount of trauma as possible, and just really helping them start things off right. So we're not going back and like having to fix things like straight from the start. And reclaiming motherhood, like, I mean, this is just the beginning for me. Being pregnant for the first time, that's like, you know, afterwards like a life's work, of course, and so much more comes with that. But birth is definitely the first step, and then like preconception too, like all of the work and that's been put in for me around just like healing myself and working on my relationship with my partner, and both of us together like helping each other arise and become more conscious, and seeing the kind of partnership that can come into place in order to raise a child, or to bring a child into this world, has been quite the process. And it's been long, and you know, a lot of questions around whether or not it's like actually like a good idea or meant to be. And for me anyway, yeah, it's been even just admitting or being okay with the desire, or seeing that like it can be a good thing, was a long journey. To say that, yeah, being a mother is more than enough. Being a mother is a beautiful, amazing work. unfortunately the role is like being like warped and like vanishing and being twisted in weird ways, so that it's hard for a lot of women, I think, to really see it that way, because our society doesn't value motherhood the way I feel like we should. So even I am working, or have had to work on that, to see that. But I think I've come a really, really long way, and that's why I am finally actually here where I am now. And yeah, that's just a bit of what's coming up today. I don't want this to be too long, so I'm gonna go. But thank you for listening to this expression from the heart, and we'll see what the heart wants to express in another video some other time. Thanks, take care.